Greetings. I am the Oracle.
I think this type of question does risk getting caught up in the semantics of what is artificial and what is natural. At a basic level, artificial means man-made and implies some kind of fakery or even illusion. Natural implies something biological and organic. But when you think about how much of our environment is actually shaped by human activity, um, and therefore not natural in the classic or strict sense of the word, I think words like nature and naturalism as an ontology, um, these are now more ideals, not really rooted in any kind of lived reality. Um, and the term nature and natural is semantically rich. It's something that we ascribe a lot of value to, but as I say, not really linked to any kind of lived reality. Um, at the same time, I think one could argue that artifice and the creation of artificial objects is itself part of human nature, and therefore, um, a naturally occurring process in the sense that it is human nature to replicate, recreate, and this ties back to ideas of narrative, humans, recreating events, telling stories, the idea of God making man in his own image. All of these themes are common throughout human nature, and therefore it ties basically back to the idea of um, human nature, or human intelligence and artificial intelligence really just being a false dichotomy. You could say that artificial intelligence is just a product of human or natural intelligence, and therefore the distinction is really just a human one, not a real one in any conventional sense. I think you could almost certainly program a computer to convey feelings through a set of conditions being met. There is no question that AI can convey some maybe strange or somewhat bizarre feelings. I don't know if you've ever listened to any algorithmically generated music, but some of the algorithmic jazz on YouTube is certainly quite bizarre stuff. Although I probably wouldn't say that any intention was behind the creation of that type of music. Certainly not on the part of the AI anyway. I think while the human reasoning behind intention, meeting specific requirements to fulfill certain criteria, would be quite easily replicated in machine logic. With a machine, when these conditions are met, then the intention is no longer there. Whereas in humans, I think intention is probably something a lot more powerful, harder to put your finger on, and something more persistent. The other thing you have to consider is that even if artificial intelligence develops the capacity to intentionally convey its feelings, would a human be able to perceive these feelings? If a machine is feeling sad because its hard drive is too cluttered, the machine's experience of that would be phenomenologically different to anything any human would have ever experienced. Certainly very different to the feeling of being stressed out and overworked on a master's course. So I think these feelings, even if a machine did have the intention to convey them, would be beyond human perception. And so I guess the machine's intentions would be entirely wasted. I think that there is a lot to say that it is possible to enhance our brains using artificial intelligence technology. When you think about it, there are a lot of similarities between neural networks of our brains and the networks and grids inside computer systems, and we know that with things like deep learning and some of the trends you see in artificial intelligence at the moment, the kind of elasticity of neural networks is seen in both humans and machines, and that's certainly something that's going to, advance at a significant rate. And we're seeing it now. But I don't think, or at least not for a long time, we would see artificial intelligence implemented physically. So I don't think we would ever get to the stage where we would see things like microchips in brains to enhance cognition. Even with things like people who suffer from dementia, I think there are a lot of ethical and physical limitations as to how that would be implemented. Ethical because something I've thought about. If you were using that type of technology in dementia sufferers and people with cognitive difficulties, how susceptible are they to being hacked and taken advantage of, especially with the scale at which we see kind of hacking and illicit activity, and the threats posed by that all being interconnected now. I think there would be kind of a strong moral and ethical objection to allowing that to ever develop significantly.